Interesting.
So after the war, Australia started letting in non-British migrants. So you had Greeks and Italians and Turks and Balts coming in, not just Jews, Poles, Hungarians, people from all over Europe. They were non-British for the first time. Now, I would say the debate about this scheme, which was very much in the public eye at that time, was the forerunner for that scheme. So the Kimberley scheme never actually got up, but it's an important part of the Australian story.
It's a stepping stone.
That's right.
Yeah. How interesting. That's a really interesting point of view. And I think...
and it helped change Australia.
Yes, look, absolutely, indeed. That I guess the real change I imagine that it may have generated was a change in mindset, but no doubt there were some pretty savvy economic reasoning underneath all of this as well. In Australia, there was a shortage of skilled labour, so people who had skills in textiles, in clothing and manufacturing, small goods, all sorts of
machinery,
food industries,
all of that.
That was what Australia was actually giving up with its earlier restrictive policies around
That's right.
migration. On the one hand, we want everybody to be of a certain extraction. So we actually wanted to define what an Australian is, and you'll fall within these particular parameters. But they were bleeding out the other side of it, of course, because they weren't developing manufacturing industries and the economy wasn't growing.
And I think this book is important in the context of the debate we're now having about immigration.
Yes.
And so I think that's what makes this book so fascinating. And it's an important part of Australian history. And a part of Australian history that no one knows anything about.